The queen who changed history. What if the most powerful woman in history was more than just beauty? What if Cleopatra's real weapon was her mind? This is the true story of Cleopatra, the queen who defied empires. Cleopatra is one of the most famous women who ever lived. Her name alone brings images of luxury, power, romance, and betrayal. For centuries, stories have painted her as a seductress who used beauty to control powerful men. But history tells a different story. Cleopatra was not just a queen. She was a strategist. A linguist. A political genius. This is the real story of Cleopatra VII, the last queen of Egypt. Cleopatra was born in 69 BC into the Ptolemaic dynasty, a Greek royal family that ruled Egypt after the death of Alexander the Great. Although her family ruled Egypt for generations, they rarely spoke the Egyptian language or respected local culture. Cleopatra was different. She was highly educated and fluent in multiple languages. She spoke Greek, Egyptian, Latin, and several other tongues. She studied philosophy, mathematics, astronomy, and politics. From a young age, Cleopatra understood one thing clearly: power depended on intelligence, not force. When Cleopatra became queen at just 18 years old, Egypt was in crisis. The kingdom was weak, surrounded by enemies, and deeply in debt to Rome. Worse still, Cleopatra was forced to rule alongside her younger brother, Ptolemy XIII. Court politics quickly turned deadly. Cleopatra was betrayed, exiled, and stripped of power. Most would have accepted defeat. Cleopatra did not. In 48 BC, Cleopatra made one of the boldest moves in history. She secretly returned to Alexandria and arranged a private meeting with the most powerful man in Rome, Julius Caesar. According to legend, she was smuggled into his palace wrapped in a carpet. But this was no romantic gesture. It was a calculated political move. Cleopatra impressed Caesar with her intelligence, confidence, and vision for Egypt. Together, they defeated her enemies and restored her to the throne. Cleopatra became queen again, this time with Rome's protection. Cleopatra and Julius Caesar formed a powerful alliance. They had a son together, Caesar Ion, whom Cleopatra believed was the future ruler of Egypt and Rome. When Cleopatra visited Rome, she shocked society. She dressed as a queen, not a servant. She demanded respect, not approval. But power attracts enemies. In 44 BC, Julius Caesar was assassinated. Cleopatra's greatest protector was gone. And Rome turned against her. After Caesar's death, Rome was divided. One man rose to power in the east, Mark Antony. Cleopatra knew she needed a new ally. When Mark Antony summoned her, Cleopatra arrived in unmatched splendor. Gold ships. Purple sails. Perfume filling the air. But again, this was not seduction. It was strategy. Cleopatra and Mark Antony formed a political and personal alliance. Together, they ruled vast territories and challenged Rome's growing empire. They were powerful. They were dangerous. And Rome feared them. Rome's future emperor, Octavian, used propaganda to destroy Cleopatra's image. He portrayed her as a foreign witch controlling Mark Antony. In 31 BC, their forces clashed with Octavian's navy at the Battle of Actium. It was a disaster. Cleopatra and Mark Antony were defeated. Their power collapsed. After the defeat, Octavian marched into Egypt. Mark Antony, believing Cleopatra was dead, took his own life. Cleopatra was captured. She knew what awaited her. Humiliation, imprisonment, and being paraded through Rome as a trophy. Cleopatra refused. In 30 BC, she ended her life, choosing death over disgrace. According to legend, she died by the bite of an asp, a symbol of royal power. With her death, Egypt fell to Rome. The age of pharaohs ended forever. Cleopatra was not just a lover of powerful men. She was a ruler who fought for her kingdom against the greatest empire in history. She spoke to her people in their own language. She protected Egypt's wealth. She challenged Rome when no one else dared. Cleopatra lost her kingdom, but she won immortality. Cleopatra's story still matters because it challenges how history remembers powerful women. She was not weak. She was not careless. She was brilliant in a world ruled by men. Cleopatra remains a symbol of intelligence, leadership, and resistance. Cleopatra did not rule forever. But her story did. A queen who stood against empires. A woman who changed the course of history. A legend who will never be forgotten.